My sister Shelby walked into my apartment with that smile. The smile that says she's about to ask for something she has no right to ask for. The smile that's ruined my life 3 times before. And when she said, "Johanna, I have amazing news. I'm pregnant again," I felt something inside me break. Not my heart this time. My silence. This is the story of how I spent 9 years raising children that weren't mine, how my family expected me to sacrifice everything while my sister lived her best life, and how I finally found the courage to say the 2-letter word that changed everything, no. If you've ever been the responsible one in your family, the person everyone expects to clean up the mess while nobody asks if you're okay, then this story is going to hit different. Subscribe and hit that notification bell, because what happens next proves that sometimes the quietest people make the loudest statements. Trust me, you'll want to see how this ends. My name is Johanna Haas. I'm 27 years old, and I live in Boston, Massachusetts. But 9 years ago, I lived with my parents in Dorchester, and I was a 20-year-old college student at UMass Boston studying early childhood education. When my sister Shelby, who was 22, showed up pregnant and terrified, I was the first person to hug her and promise everything would be okay. The father, some guy named Jake Russell she dated for 3 months, literally moved to California without a forwarding address when she told him. Ryan came into the world on a Tuesday in February. Beautiful, perfect, 7 pounds 4 ounces. I was there in the delivery room, holding Shelby's hand, crying tears of joy. For 2 weeks, Shelby was actually a good mom. Then she had what she called a mental breakdown. She thrust Ryan into my arms at 2 a.m. and said, "I need a break." That break lasted 3 days while she partied with friends in Cambridge. And Ryan? He was fine with me. That was the problem. When he cried, I could soothe him. When he was hungry, I knew what to do. I became his person. Our parents, Roger and Miranda, were conveniently busy. Dad worked long hours, Mom cared for her aging parents. They'd help occasionally, but the bulk of responsibility fell on me. "You're so good with him," Mom would say. Natural mother material, Johanna. I was 20 years old. I didn't want to be natural mother material. I wanted to be a college student who went to parties and studied abroad and figured out who I was. But I didn't say that. I smiled and said, "Thanks, Mom." Because that's who I was. Johanna the reliable. Johanna the responsible. Johanna the one who sacrificed without complaint. By the time Ryan was 18 months old, I'd fallen into a routine. Morning classes, rush home to relieve whoever was watching Ryan, spend afternoons and evenings caring for him, study after he went to bed. Sleep 5 hours. Repeat. Shelby worked nights as a bartender in the theater district, which meant she was gone exactly when Ryan needed care most. She'd come home at 3 a.m., sleep until noon, give Ryan a kiss, then I'd take him to my classes in a carrier on my chest. My professors went from understanding to concerned to annoyed. My grades dropped from a 3.8 to a 2.9 in 1 semester. Then Shelby met Graham Parrish, a 29-year-old musician with tattoos and a motorcycle. They moved in together after 6 weeks. Into his 1-bedroom apartment. "What about Ryan?" I asked. "He's fine with you. You're basically his mom anyway." The casual way she said it made my blood run cold. "He loves you more than me," she continued, real hurt flashing across her face. "He cries when I hold him. You're better at this." She asked me to keep him for a while. A while turned into 2 years. 2 years during which I put my education on hold completely. 2 years during which Shelby would pop by every few weeks to bring Ryan a toy and take selfies she'd post on Instagram with captions like "my beautiful boy." #blessed mama. The comments would flood in, "Such a good mom. He's so lucky to have you." No one knew she'd spend 30 minutes with him before leaving. No one knew I was the one waking up with his nightmares, teaching him his ABCs, taking him to doctor appointments. When Ryan was 3 years old, he started calling me Mama. Not Aunt Johanna. Mama. The first time it happened, Shelby was actually there. Ryan fell, scraped his knee, and ran past Shelby crying "Mama! Mama!" into my chest. I waited for Shelby to correct him. She said nothing. Just looked at her phone and left. Ryan was 4 when Shelby got pregnant again. This time with Graham's baby. At Sunday dinner, she announced they were sealing their love with a baby. Later that night, she cornered me. "Graham and I will be really busy with the new baby. His band is getting real gigs. So maybe Ryan could stay with you? Just for the first year, until we get settled? You want me to keep Ryan while you raise Graham's baby? Ryan is happy with you. Ripping him away would be traumatic. And honestly, we barely have room for a crib. Where would Ryan sleep? Where is he sleeping now?" I asked. She looked ashamed. "With you. But that's different." "How?" "Because you have space. And you're so good with him. And I'll pay you $200 a month." I laughed bitterly. $200 for full-time childcare? Do you know what daycare costs? I should have said no. But I thought about Ryan, sweet Ryan who'd already experienced so much instability. If I refused, where would he go? I said yes because I loved that little boy more than I loved myself. And Shelby knew it. Caleb was born 9 months later. Shelby and Graham moved into a 2-bedroom in Roslindale. Suddenly they had space. Suddenly they could parent. Shelby posted daily Instagram updates about mommy life with Caleb. Ryan stayed with me. When Ryan asked why he couldn't live with his mommy and baby brother, I didn't know what to say. At 5 years old, he understood he was the one who'd been left behind. I was 25 when I finally moved out of my parents' house into a tiny 1-bedroom in Alston. I'd gotten a job as a teacher's aide at an elementary school in Brighton. Ryan came with me, of course. By then he was 7, and the arrangement was so normalized that no one questioned it. Shelby and Graham had him maybe 1 weekend a month, usually canceling because they had plans or because Caleb was having a hard time with Ryan around. I enrolled Ryan in the school where I worked. I packed his lunches, helped with homework, attended parent-teacher conferences, cheered at his performances. I dated occasionally, but it never went anywhere. How do you explain you're a 25-year-old with a 7-year-old who calls you mama but isn't technically yours? There was one guy, Simon Asher, who seemed okay with it. We dated 4 months. Then he said, "I can't build a future with someone still living in someone else's past. You need to figure out your situation." He was right. But I didn't know how to figure it out. Ryan wasn't a situation to solve. He was a little boy who needed stability and love. Simon left. I was alone again, except for Ryan. Then came baby number 3. Shelby showed up one Saturday. Ryan was at a birthday party. "No," I said before she could speak. "You don't even know what I'm going to say. You're pregnant again. And I can't do this anymore, Shelby. I love Ryan, but I cannot raise another one of your children." She sat down, tears filling her eyes. "It's Gavin's. Gavin. Not Graham. A new name. Graham cheated on me with a groupie. I moved out with Caleb 6 months ago. Now I'm with Gavin Dominic. He's a contractor, makes good money, treats me like a queen. And he wants this baby. That's great. But what about Ryan?" Her face fell. "Ryan is happy with you. When is he coming to live with you? You have a 3-bedroom house in Quincy now. You have stability. He barely knows me, Joe. Bringing him to live with strangers would be traumatic. What's best for him is having his mother." "You are his mother," she shouted. "You're the one who's been there for everything. You're the one he loves. I'm just the lady who shows up with presents." I can't keep doing this. I'm not asking you to. Just let things stay as they are. Ryan is thriving with you. I nodded. Because I didn't have another answer. Josh was born 7 months later. Shelby was supermom on Instagram again. #boymom, #blessed, #third time is the charm. Ryan was 8 when he asked the question I'd been dreading, why doesn't mommy want me? Baby, that's not true. Then why do I live with you and not with her? Caleb and Josh live with her. Why not me? I couldn't lie anymore. Your mommy made some choices when you were very little. And by the time she was ready to be a full-time mom, you and I had become a team. And I love you so much, Ryan. Do you wish I didn't live with you? My heart shattered. Never. Not for 1 second. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. You're the best thing that ever happened to me too, Mama. He'd stopped calling Shelby Mommy. To him, she was just Shelby. But I was Mama. If this is making you angry, if you're thinking about all the times you've been taken advantage of by family, hit that subscribe button. This story gets so much more intense, and the way it ends is going to leave you speechless. Don't miss what happens when Johanna finally reaches her breaking point. Which brings me to 3 weeks ago. Ryan is 9, and I'm 27. I just started online classes again, trying to finish my degree. I'd met someone, Wayne Cooper, a teacher at Ryan's school. We'd been on 3 dates. There was hope. Then Shelby showed up on a Sunday morning with that smile. Johanna. I have amazing news. I'm pregnant. Number 4. Something inside me snapped. Not broke. Snapped. No, I said. No, what? No, I don't want to hear about it. No, I'm not going to congratulate you. No, I'm not going to help you. Just no. I'm not asking for help. I just wanted to share my good news. Aren't you? Do you know what Ryan asked me last week? He asked if you were ashamed of him. If that's why he doesn't live with you and his brothers. He asked if he was broken. Shelby went pale. I didn't know. Of course you didn't. You barely know him. You've missed 3 birthdays. You weren't there when he broke his arm. You weren't there for his school play where he had the lead. You weren't there when he won the spelling bee. I was there. For all of it. Because I'm his mother in every way except biologically. I know you've done a lot. A lot? Shelby, I've given up my entire 20s for your child. I dropped out of college. I put my career on hold. I've had relationships fail. I've spent every dollar making sure Ryan has everything he needs. And you just keep popping out babies, keeping the ones that fit your Instagram life and discarding the one who doesn't. That's not fair. None of this is fair. You get to be the fun mom who swoops in with presents while I do the actual work. You get to build a life with Gavin and your 2 sons while Ryan gets to be the dirty little secret in your sister's apartment. He's not a secret. Then bring him home, Shelby. You have a 3-bedroom house. Bring your son home. She was quiet. Then, he wouldn't want to come. Because you're a stranger to him. But that's on you. What do you want me to do? I want you to leave. And don't come back unless you're ready to have an honest conversation about what's best for Ryan. Not what's convenient for you. What's actually best for your son. Johanna, please. And I'm done enabling your bullshit. You want a 4th baby? Great. But don't come to me when you realize 4 kids is a lot of work, because I won't be there. You're my sister. And you've been taking advantage of that for 9 years. I love you, Shelby. But I can't do this anymore. She left without another word. The next day, my phone exploded. Mom called. Johanna Lynn Haas, what is wrong with you? Your sister came to me in tears. Did she tell you I've been raising Ryan full-time for 9 years while she plays happy family with her other sons? You and Ryan have a special bond. A bond that exists because his mother abandoned him with me when he was a baby. She was young and needed help. That's what family does. And what has Shelby done for me in 9 years, Mom? Silence. I'm not doing this anymore. I love Ryan. I will always take care of Ryan. But I'm done pretending this is normal. You're being selfish. After everything I'd given up, I was being called selfish. You're right, I said quietly. For the first time in 9 years, I'm being selfish. And it feels amazing. I hung up. Only one person supported me, my cousin Haas. Everyone in this family has watched you sacrifice yourself, and nobody said a word. It's about time someone called her out. What I haven't told you is that 2 days before Shelby's announcement, I received a call from Graham. I need to tell you something about Caleb, he said. My heart pounded. What? After Shelby and I split, she got DNA tests on both boys. She was paranoid about my cheating. Caleb is definitely mine. But she tested Ryan too. I stopped breathing. Ryan isn't Jake Russell's son, Johanna. She never told anyone. But his biological father is someone else, someone who isn't in the picture and never will be. She lied about Jake being the father. After Graham's call, I hired a private investigator. What he found broke my heart. Shelby hadn't been dating Jake exclusively. She'd been seeing multiple men, including a married professor from her community college. His name was Roger Caleb Dominic. Roger Caleb. The names she'd given to her second and third sons. The investigator found emails. Love letters, promises, discussions about leaving his wife. Then when Shelby got pregnant, sudden silence. He blocked her, transferred colleges, threatened to destroy her reputation if she contacted him. Scared and ashamed, Shelby pinned the pregnancy on Jake Russell. When Jake left for California, it was the perfect cover. But she kept a piece of that affair alive by naming her later children after the man she'd never gotten over. This was why she'd been so willing to let me raise Ryan, because every time she looked at him, she saw the professor who'd broken her heart and abandoned her. A week after our fight, Shelby used her emergency key to walk into my apartment. We need to talk, she said. I gestured to a chair. Talk. I've been thinking about what you said. About Ryan. About everything. You're right. About all of it. I did abandon him. I did take advantage of your love for him. That doesn't make it right. I know. When I got pregnant with Ryan, I was terrified. You made it so easy to walk away because I knew he'd be okay with you. Then with Caleb, I wanted a fresh start. A do-over. Josh was my redemption baby. And number 4? She flinched. Here's the thing, Joe. I'm not equipped to be Ryan's mom anymore. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. Pulling him into my life after 9 years would be cruel. So what are you saying? I want you to adopt him. Legally. You're his mother in every way that matters. You should be his mother legally too. I couldn't breathe. Shelby. I talked to Gavin and a lawyer. I'll voluntarily terminate my parental rights, and you adopt him. You've been in limbo for 9 years with no legal protection. This way, he's yours. Legally, permanently yours. What about his brothers? If he wants to see them and you want to facilitate it, fine. I'm not dictating terms. You've earned the right to make all decisions. Before I agree, I need you to tell me the truth about Ryan's father. Her face went white. Graham told you about the DNA tests. Who is Ryan's father, Shelby? She broke down and told me everything. About Roger, Caleb, Dominic. The affair. The rejection. The shame. I named Caleb and Josh after him. Pathetic, right? The man who ruined my life, and I named my kids after him. Ryan deserves to know where he comes from. So he can know his father wanted nothing to do with him? He already carries rejection from you. At least if he knows the truth, he'll understand it wasn't about being unlovable, it was about a selfish man making selfish choices. What are you going to do? I'm going to adopt him. And when he's old enough, I'll tell him the truth. Then he can decide if he wants to find Roger, Caleb, Dominic, or let that part of his past stay buried. And us? We move forward honestly. You be a better mother to Caleb, Josh, and this new baby. Tell them the truth about why Ryan lives with me. And you give me the legal right to make decisions for the child I've been raising since he was 8 weeks old. Okay, she whispered. The adoption was finalized 3 months ago. Ryan is legally, permanently mine now. Ryan Asher Haas, I gave him Simon's name as a middle name. Ironically, once I figured out my situation, Simon reached out. We're taking it slow, but there's hope. Ryan knows Shelby is his biological mother, but I'm his real mom in all the ways that matter. We're in family therapy, working through the complexities. Shelby had her 4th baby, a girl named Miranda. She's been a decent parent to all 3 children who live with her. She sees Ryan twice a month for supervised visits, and slowly, tentatively, they're building some kind of relationship. My family slowly came around. Mom apologized for calling me selfish. Dad admitted he should have intervened years ago. But here's what I learned, setting boundaries isn't betrayal. Protecting yourself isn't selfish. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do is say no. For 9 years, I said yes to everything. And in doing so, I enabled a system that hurt everyone, including Ryan. When I finally said no, I didn't abandon Ryan. I protected us both. I claimed my role as his mother legally and emotionally. Shelby's 4th pregnancy announcement was supposed to be another burden. Instead, it became the catalyst for me to finally stand up and demand the respect I'd earned. This isn't about revenge. It's about a woman who spent her 20s raising someone else's child out of love, and who finally found the courage to make that love official. It's about quiet justice, the kind that comes not from punishing others, but from protecting yourself and the people you love. Ryan and I are happy now. Really happy. I'm finishing my degree while working as a teacher's aide. Ryan is thriving, friends, soccer, school, and knows without a doubt that he is loved and wanted. Sometimes he asks about his biological father. I tell him we'll talk when he's older, and when he's ready, we can explore that together. But I also tell him the most important thing, he gets to decide what kind of man he wants to be, regardless of where he came from. Shelby and I will never have the relationship we once did. Too much has happened. But we're civil, cooperative, and most importantly, honest. When people ask if I regret taking on Ryan, I tell them the truth. I regret that I had to. I regret that circumstances forced a 20-year-old to become a mother overnight. I regret the years I lost, the opportunities one missed. But I don't regret Ryan. I could never regret Ryan. He is the greatest gift of my life, even if he came wrapped in the worst circumstances. And now, finally, he's officially mine. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever been the one who had to be strong when everyone else fell apart, if you've ever sacrificed yourself for family only to be taken for granted, if you've ever finally found the courage to set boundaries, then this video was for you. Subscribe to hear more stories like this, real stories about real people dealing with real family dynamics. Hit that notification bell and leave a comment telling me your story. Because sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is share our truth and realize someone else understands exactly what we've been through. You are not alone. Your boundaries are valid. Your feelings are real. And you deserve to be honored for the sacrifices you've made. Thank you for watching.